Morning everyone, and welcome to the penultimate day of the 30-day strength challenge. Today we're going to be revisiting our work that we've been doing with our speed and power, and we're going to be doing the burpee exercise. Now the burpee is something that people often dread because it is quite high intensity and hard work. However, if we do it correctly, then it is really effective at being quite a good pulse raiser. Okay, so it's quite high intensity and targeting that sort of anaerobic energy system, but it also strengthens a wide variety of muscle groups. So it also combines a few movements that we've been doing throughout the course of this series so far as well. So we do the squats, or so half squat jumps, deeper squats, and the plank movement, and even the press up if you want to add that in as well. So all those muscle groups are going to be used, so including the core and all the muscles that are required for a good quality triple extension. So for example, the glutes, quads and calf muscles. So before we get started, I'm just going to go through a few sort of technical points first, because there are quite a few ways in which people fall down when doing this exercise. Okay, so we're going to start off obviously standing up, and we're going to be going for into our squat position first. So remember our squatting technique, so we want our feet just over shoulder width apart and feet slightly out turned as well. And then as we go down, we want to make sure that we're sticking our bum out to the back so that we're not tracking our knee over the front of our toes, which is obviously going to put more pressure on those knees. So obviously core engaged as well, so we're going to essentially go back like that. So we want to try and keep our back as straight as we possibly can. But then of course we're going to go sort of deeper down than that, so because we want obviously our hands to be touching the floor. So we're going to go down into our sort of deeper squat, and then we're going to put our hands onto the floor, trying to keep that back as straight as we can. Now we can adjust the difficulty here. This is the first place we can adjust the difficulty by our hand position. If it's further towards our feet, then it's going to be harder to keep that straight back, but also you're going to have to use those muscles a bit more when we jump back as well. So probably start off by having them further forward. And then of course when we put our hands down, we want to make sure in order to keep this knee alignment, we want our knees going on the outside of our elbows. So we don't want these knees to be coming in like that, because obviously that's not good. So then of course we're going to sort of go back, and we're going to do a squat thrust now, back into the plank position. Okay, so we're going to go back like so. Now this is an area where people often go wrong as well, because as I mentioned before, when we're doing a plank, we want a straight line from our shoulders all the way down to our feet. So we don't want our bums to be up in the air like this. It's not like a downward dog like in yoga. Okay, so but this is an area where people fall down on this even more, because it's quite a high intensity exercise. People often try and cheat and cut corners by not doing it properly. So instead of going from here back into the full plank, they go from here and just do that, and then come back, and their bum is still up in the air. We want to fully extend so that we're using those core muscles and glutes as much as we possibly can. Okay, and then obviously we return back to our starting position, and then we jump up. And another key technical point here is when we do get back into our squat position and we're ready to jump up, don't spend ages on the floor. Okay, so we don't want to come back, stop and then jump, okay, like a lot of people do, because otherwise if you stop and pause, you're just going to lose all of that elastic energy. You're not going to be able to utilize that, and you're not going to be able to develop as much power. So we want to be as quick and explosive as we possibly can, because if we don't do that, you might as well just do each component separately. So just try and be as quick and explosive as you possibly can. So as soon as your feet hit the floor, you explode up into the jump. Okay, so now I'm going to put it all together and do a few sort of quicker ones for you, just so you can see it properly. I'm going to start here. so you get the idea there. If the high intensity burpee, the full burpee, is too difficult for you, then there are ways that you can make it slightly easier with less impact and lower difficulty. So for example, you can take out the jump altogether and you can just do the squat thrust element of it as well. Okay, so you can go down into our squat thrust and then just back. So you're just doing between this movement here. If that's still too hard for you, then you can take out the squat thrust as well and just do the regular half squat technique. But obviously just make sure that you're obviously doing it nice and quick. So as you push back up, you should feel like your heels want to come off the floor, almost like your body wants to jump. Okay, so you should be doing it really powerful like that. Okay. So if you want to make it harder though, then there is another thing you can do, because you can add a press up into the mix as well. So you can start from our position here, go down, and then you can do a narrow press up as you get down to the bottom, and then back up and jump. So there's 4 different difficulties for you there, and then whichever one you choose, the challenge is to try and do as many as you possibly can within a minute, okay? But obviously make sure that you're maintaining your form for that length of time. Okay, thanks a lot, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final day.